Welcome. I just thought I'd do another quick little video. This Ignitron ECU, you can do so many things with it. I decided to control my after run pump, or my coolant circulation pump, I guess, depending on what you want to call it. It's that pump that basically turns on as soon as you turn the key switch on, which is what bothers me. Now, this is not something that I would recommend for everybody, but my car is not my daily driver anymore, so I really don't like it when I go to just turn the key switch on, and then the after run pump turns on, and it runs for like 10 minutes. And so it's not really necessary, obviously, for it to run for 10 minutes when the engine's cooled and it hasn't even started up yet. So I thought, well, let's go ahead and control that. We can control that with our Ignitron ECU. And this is the schematic that I did. And you can see, basically, it's a harness that connects between the OEM circulation pump and the OEM harness. So this is a relay I used, and you can use some sort of an indicator also. The connectors I got just from eBay. This is what I basically searched for and got the male and the female connectors. These are the connectors that will connect to the pump itself, and then the other one to the harness that you remove from it. So these worked out pretty well. I got those off of eBay, for just a couple of bucks. All right, so here's the schematic for this. Basically, we're going to use the N112 connector, which I've removed from my car, and probably a lot of you have also. It is for the secondary air injection solenoid. So pin 9 basically goes to the ECU, and that's the pin that we're going to use right here. Now, I used my existing connector and had it, so I just spliced into the wires. So basically, here's your female connector that's going to go to the pump itself. Here is the male connector that's going to go to the pump harness, the one that you've actually removed off the pump. And then here's a 1 amp fuse that I put in just to protect the relay and the ECU basically itself. So you can see we're getting power through the fuse, through the relay coil. This is the coil here, and then into pin number 9. Now we can control this pin 9, and what it is on that ECU, it is a low. So what it's going to do is, when it's activated, it's going to pull this pin low, energize the relay, put 0 basically here, put 12 volts here, energize that coil, and then flip the relay switch and allow our connection from here to the pump itself. So we've got our pump voltage to the pump, and then this is going to supply the battery negative to the pump and allow the pump to run. You can do an external indicator. I've sort of toyed with that, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but that's something you can do also, or you can set it up in the Ignitron software itself. So here's the harness that I made up, and I basically decided to just do an inline harness, so I didn't do anything with the original harness. This just fits right in between. So this is the connection to the pump itself. This connection goes to the pump harness, so you remove the original harness from the pump, plug it in here, plug this one into the pump, and then this goes to the harness for pin 9 on that N112. And it's just one wire, but we need one wire going into pin 9. Here is a 1 amp fuse that I have, and here's my relay that I have, and I have it all gunked up with silicone rubber just to protect it in the engine compartment. I haven't set it up yet, but I have a connector here for a remote indicator that I might bring into the passenger compartment eventually. So we might do that then also. So here's the relay I use. It's basically a 30 amp normally open relay that I had. I was able to mount it with 2 screws. You can see here's some mounting here. I'll show you that a little bit later. But here again, you can see here's the relay that I'm using right here. Here it is on the diagram. Here it is on the new harness. Here's your optional lamp connector, basically right here. Here is the connection to the pump, the female that's going to plug into the pump itself. Here is the male that's going to plug into the pump harness that you pulled off the pump itself. And then here is our pin 9 going again to the N112 connector, as long as you have that available. So that's the look at the schematic and the harness itself. Here it is mounted in the engine compartment. You can see I mounted this right up front here, right above. Here's the fans. Here's the circulating pump itself right here. And here's the relay. Here's my additional plug, basically for an optional indicator. I don't have that hooked up yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to do just yet. Here's the fuse. Here's our connector here, and then there's a connector on the pump itself then. So that's it pretty much in the engine compartment. I have to sort of wire tie and straighten up some of the wiring, but I had it just sort of thrown in to go ahead and test it. So I was taking a look, just, I sort of wanted some sort of indicator lamp inside the engine compartment. So what I did was I pulled one of the, I don't have heated seats anymore, so I have racing seats in now. Again, it's not my daily driver. So I pulled one of the heated seat switches and found that you can power that up just with 12 volts. So that when the pump gets powered up, it'll supply this lamp also in the passenger compartment. But you can use some sort of LED. You can use anything you want. And that was just sort of an idea that I might do also. So the software setup's pretty simple. You want to go to your basic settings and select outputs. And then you'll see your coolant circulation pump here. And for this particular setup, I used the ECU 9. And again, it's a low side, 2.2 amp, capable of 2.2 amps. And it's a low side, which means it's going to pull ECU pin 9 low. So let's just go back and take a look at our schematic again. It's going to pull. Basically, here's our pin 9. It's going to pull this pin low, energizing the contactor or the relay coil, energizing the contact points in the relay itself, and then energizing the pump itself here. All right, so here is the coolant circulation pump. Now once you do that, what will happen is it will open up on auxiliary devices, it will open up a coolant circulation pump. And what I did, this is the way I have mine set up. I just didn't want mine to run. Normally it'll run as soon as you turn on the ignition. And a lot of times, like I said, I'm not using mine as a daily driver. So sometimes I'll just turn mine on, maybe to roll up the windows or roll down the windows, or maybe I'll just check my fuel level. I may just, kick it over once. Hard to say, but I just hated to have that circulation pump just listening to it running and draining my battery all the time when my car sits maybe for a week or two before an event. So I have mine Status obviously enabled, and I did not check runs on ignition. I did not check runs if engine revs. So if you don't want it to run on ignition, just uncheck that one. If you want it to go ahead and start up, as soon as you start the engine, you can go ahead and check this box here. So I have both of those unchecked. I wanted to have it run after we reach just a slight temperature, like 25 degrees C. So as soon as it reaches 25 degrees C, it'll activate that relay and turn on the pump. Now I also do want it to keep running. Once the engine is warm, obviously this is what it's really meant for. It'll run for 10 minutes, 600 seconds, basically 10 minutes, if the engine coolant temperature is higher than 70 degrees C. So anything higher than 70 degrees C, that pump is going to continue to run, and continue to run even when you turn the ignition off, even after you remove the key from the ignition. So it will run. So the way I have mine set up, it just won't run when you hit the ignition or turn on the ignition. It won't run if you actually start the engine. It's only going to start to run once the engine starts to warm up. And again, 25 degrees C isn't very warm, so it's going to start running pretty quick. All right, so you can do an indicator with your tablet view also. If you go into Tablet View Editor and select Status Bits Auxiliary Coolant Circulation Pump, and you can come up with basically a rectangular text so that when that pump activates, it'll show that it's turned on. So if you want to monitor, you don't absolutely have to have any sort of a remote indicator. If you use your tablet in the car all the time, then you can just basically set up this on your tablet, and it'll tell you when it's on and when it's off. All right, just another thing you can do with Ignitron. There's so many different things. That's just one thing I decided I would do because it's not my daily driver, not something that I recommend for everybody, but that's what I did, and I hope it helps you out, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.